As you can see, my journal isn't something very fancy. It's a very simple thing. As for how I take notes and how I keep them, I have this one, and I'm very old school, so I prefer using paper and pen. And it's much faster for me, and it's because it's so small, I can keep it all the time in my backpack. Um, for the sake of the argument, I use pens and pencils all the time. Even my class notes are written in different notebooks, so it's much easier for me to keep this one. There was a question that we talked about last session about how do you categorize. You can see that I color coded everything. So, for example, the Watson seminar is coded with orange, those parts, those ideas that are related to Watson seminar, and there's a project that we are doing with Professor um, Chisholm and the workbook project, and it is color coded green, and those related to another class that I have with Dr. Hogan is colored purple. So this is I forgot to say that another way that I keep notes, sometimes when I need to keep a track of or transcripts, for example, for workshops or sessions that we are later going to probably use as research material, I do that in Word because I can transcribe much faster using my laptop and typing. This is the first page of my journal. It's written on 24th of January, a bit late, I know, but I was really fascinated with April Baker Bowles' autoethnography that I read. And here I was, so fed up with reading so many articles that week, but it was like a breath of fresh air. And contemplating on Kazanov, I started writing how I feel, kind of, so it's not only a journal of keeping research ideas, but also how I feel through my PhD journey. For instance, you can see it's a combination of ideas and feelings. Um, After reading so many papers in the last 2 weeks, about 400 pages for 2 courses, this is a breath of fresh air, exactly the same wording I can use now. Maybe I can write an autoethnography about being an Iranian PhD female student who is unlucky enough to become a student in Trump era. Kind of, I still feel like that, so it's still valid. I wrote some parts that I really liked, and actually, I asked questions that I forgot to research about later. For example, she ended her autoethnography with questions. Is that a common thing? Maybe I can research about that more. So, the other thing that I wanted to show is that I started with, I was thinking about kind of um, thinking about a good project for my school sociology class, and I was looking for a good one, and I started taking like parts of the articles. I attached those parts that I thought were good to my journal. I was very fascinated with the idea of the capital, like social capital, cultural capital, linguistic capital. And as I saw that, okay, I was lucky enough um, to be able to speak clearly and be understood by others. And I was thinking, if my English wasn't the way it was, how it would affect me, because a lot of my friends who started a PhD, they were Iranians, and they started their PhD, although they got good grades on their English proficiency tests. When they came here, it was so much for them, like reading and writing, and they weren't exposed to this before, so they had lots of problems. And I was thinking, what if I wasn't lucky enough, privileged enough to have had those lessons. And I started taking some like pieces of the articles that I liked. Even I started attaching, you know, and asking some questions. I was thinking about, can I relate Bakhtin's ideas and Ivanich ideas to this, um, you know, and then in that, next pages, you can see that um, on 20th, I had a meeting with Dr. Chisholm. It was like a few days ago. And that meeting really helped me. Those notes that I took before really helped me. And actually, we talked a lot about how we felt at the beginning of the meeting. And then we started talking about the project, and really those notes that I took, the questions that I posed in previous pages, and my ideas, or parts that I wrote came to help in order to narrowing down what I wanted to talk about, um, and what I wanted to write. And we started, you know, thinking about different ideas, like, should I write about the linguistic capital and sense of self? Should I write about the linguistic capital and cultural adaptation of Iranian international students? And I wrote some papers. Of course, I just put a few pages here. And then we talked about the method. We narrowed it down to narrative because I was much more comfortable with narrative. And we came up with some names of people who can help me with a thematic analysis, the type of analysis that I can use, good sources, what interview questions I need to contemplate on that. And this is like, I was thinking if I can use AntCorp in order to analyze, and look for specific words for my thematic analysis. So again, Watson Seminar came to help. I guess I can answer another question here about involving other people. I think my advisor is involved, my classmates from the curriculum and instruction, especially Amy, is involved in my note taking because we share how we take notes with each other, and we share our understanding of different articles and how our understandings can affect others. And about the setting that I prefer is everywhere, actually, in a cafe, at the office, everywhere. That would be good.